Good day, welcome to your news at noon on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo has maintained that the mere 2% royalty, massive tax breaks, and the absence of a ring-fencing provision are three key flaws of the 2016 Stubber Block PSA, but said his government will not seek to renegotiate the deal to correct those identified weaknesses. The Vice President said the 2016 contract was drafted by Exxon and sent to the former APNU-AFC government. Jagdeo said he does not know what internal process it went through, but it was signed by Trotman almost overnight and contrary to advice. The official reiterated that while the contract is lopsided, his government will not renegotiate it, as previously stated while in opposition. And Detective Sergeant Dion Bascom on Wednesday used the opportunity when he appeared in the city court to answer to 3 cybercrime charges to file a similar charge against Crime Chief Wendell Blanham. The charges against Bascom comes weeks after he made accusations about an alleged police cover-up in the murder of Ricardo Fagundes. Bascom appeared in the Georgetown Magistrates Courts before Chief Magistrate Anne McLennan in the company of his lawyer, Nigel Hughes. And Guyana has signed officially an agreement with the IDB to utilize $83.3 million from the Norway Forest Funds to build 8 solar projects across the country. The Finance Ministry explained in a missive to the press that the deal was signed under the Guyana Utility Scale Solar Photovoltaic Program, or GSOP, which paves the way for investments in 8 utility-scale photovoltaic solar projects. Once completed, it is expected to bring affordable and clean energy to targeted communities in Guyana. Meanwhile, Sterling Products Limited has lodged an official complaint with the Environmental Protection Agency, stating that agents of Pritipal Singh Investments Inc. have been trespassing on its waterfront property situated at Lot E Providence and is presently executing construction works. Sterling Products informed the regulatory body that the foregoing persists in spite of the court ordering that the company vacate the property in question. It recalled that the issue of trespassing was previously before the courts, where Justice Joanne Barlow on December 2, 2020, declared that the claimant, Sterling, is the legal owner of the properties known as Plots F and F1 and Lot E, which form part of the Plantation Providence situated on the east bank of Demerara River. And now let's tell you, on Monday, 2 men were shot accidentally during a fight between 2 other men at Goldfinger Landing, Kaieteur River, the Ghana Police Force has said. The incident occurred around 9:50. Injured are 38-year-old Ronald Trotman and 30-year-old Kurt Arthur. According to a police report, 2 men, one being Guyanese and the other being Venezuelan, were having a heated argument, which escalated. The men reportedly pulled out their guns and opened fire on each other. Trotman and Arthur were caught in the crossfire and both received minor injuries. Meanwhile, there was a bloody scene Wednesday morning at the Maka East Bank Demerara Roadhead when a taxi driver stabbed one of his colleagues to death during a quarrel over a parking spot. Dead is 41-year-old Quincy Weeks, a father of 1. The suspect is presently in police custody. We understand that Weeks and his alleged killer were friends who plied their trade together as taxi drivers at the Maka Roadhead. However, things turned sour between the two recently over $500. As things escalated, he reportedly armed himself with a knife and stabbed Weeks several times about his body until he fell to the ground. Weeks reportedly bled to death in minutes. And now let's tell you, after disclosing on Monday that Guyana's first monkeypox victim had been discharged, Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony on Wednesday announced that the second diagnosed patient has also been discharged from isolation. As reported, monkeypox is a disease which causes pus-filled blisters that crust over and fall off. It spreads by someone coming into contact with a person or animal infected with the virus. Last May, the World Health Organization declared the growing monkeypox outbreak as a global health emergency. And now let's tell you, the ongoing claims and objections exercise has been extended by 7 days to afford eligible persons further opportunities to participate in the process. The decision comes days after the opposition had protested what they said was a move to deny a request for the exercise to be extended, as well as allowing the PPPC to determine whether the extension should be granted. Opposition-nominated Commissioner Vincent Alexander had said that the chairperson of GCOM, Claudette Singh, had once again shown her hand, or rather her slip, And at this time, we wrap things up with the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News dedicated to being blunt. Jagdeo speaks with forked tongue. Vice President Bharat Jagdeo speaks with a forked tongue. He has now shifted his position on Guyana's burdensome oil contract with Exxon. He is now speaking a different language in carefully constructed wording. On the Glenn Lal show Tuesday night, while admitting that the contract is lopsided, the erstwhile former president said he would not renegotiate it. But his record is an open book. Jagdeo and numerous PPP spokespeople, when the party was in opposition, had raged against the contract signed by the then APNU-AFC coalition government. Jagdeo and his cohorts went to town with one scornful put-down after another on how terrible, how vile the contract with Exxon was. The attacks against the coalition continued when the PPP returned to power in 2020 and has never really let up in intensity, with every opportunity seized to remind all Guyanese how criminal the contract was. In Parliament, in the media, and in the outreaches before captive audiences loaded with docile supporters, PPP leaders or ministers lashed and bashed the contract. It was another way of burning the coalition of effigy before frenzied and delirious believers. To watch Jagdeo meekly say he would not renegotiate, offering incoherent reasons, is simply pathetic. May God bless Guyana. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds of thousands. Advertise today and watch your dollar grow. Call us on 225-8465 or 226-8210 today.
Not us.